Hey, what's up mortals, it's 𝕂𝕚𝕝 here, and before we get into the video, there's a few things I'd like to say. Firstly, a quick thank you to our sponsors on Patreon. The full list will be at the end of the video. If you'd like to support us and our content, please go over there and check it out. Secondly, if you have what if ideas and want it to be done by us ASAP, you can now commission it from us. Go into the Discord that is in the description of this video and DM the head writer, tell him your idea and he will explain the process to you. Now with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. Sasuke Uchiha was born on July 23rd in the Hidden Leaf village, which resides in the Land of Fire. Sasuke has black hair with a blue tint and black eyes. He is the second child of Minato and Fukaku Uchiha. They named him after Sasuke Tsurutobi in the hopes that he would someday be just as strong of a shinobi. Sasuke always grew up in the shadow of Itachi, his prodigy older brother. When Sasuke joined the Leaf Ninja Academy, Sasuke proved himself to be a standout, but never to the level his elder brother was at. After training for a while, Sasuke returns home just to find the Uchiha streets filled with bodies. He rushed home to tell his parents what happened, but when he got home he found Itachi hovering over their bodies. Itachi said Sasuke wasn't worth killing and that's why he didn't decide to kill him. Itachi then replayed him killing all the yokai and the Tusken in front of Sasuke. These events are called the Yushai Massacre. He spent the first few days after roaming the Yushai neighborhood, reflecting on the people who were now gone, killed by Itachi. Sasuke vowed he would get vengeance on Itachi for his actions against the Yushai clan. Eventually, this became Sasuke's whole reason for living. Sasuke's chakra is quite strong, in part due to being the reincarnation of Indra Otsutsuki. Whenever Sasuke's curse of hatred deepens, others remark how much stronger, darker, and more sinister his chakra becomes. He also has a large amount of chakra, being able to use Chitori twice a day in part 1, and part 2 being able to use it multiple times a day. He also has the Yushai Kenge, the Shuriken. With it, he can do multiple things like see the flow of chakra, accurately reproduce any movement he sees, his own physical skill permitting, track fast moving objects, and by the end of part 1, predict opponent's movements to a degree. Sasuke's Mangoi Shuriken was awakened when he saw Itachi die. With his left eye, he can also use a Meta 2, in his right he can shape the flames or extinguish them. Because both of Sasuke's are Mangoi Shurikens, he can use Susanoo. Sasuke originally denied for his eyes to be transplanted, with Itachi's claiming that his views were different from Itachi's. Later, when he went blind, he accepted his brother's eyes, getting the eternal Mangoi Shuriken. After receiving half of Hokoromo Otsuki's chakra, Sasuke awakened a Rinnegan in his left eye with 3 tomo on each of his 2 innermost circles. Sasuke's Rinnegan is always active, but when Sasuke loses a considerable amount of chakra, it loses a tomo. Hitojutsu gives Sasuke the ability of pattern recognition, being able to help him analyze patterns inside codes and by comparing them to similar patterns, decipher writing. It can also see through Genjutsu very well. His signature, if not unique, ability with the Rinnegan is Space-Time Ninjutsu. With it, he can perceive distortion within the flow of time, ready to see events that happen as normal, although it's unknown if he can negate the consequences on himself. His first and most often used technique is Amendo Teshikara, which allows him to instantly swap places of any 2 targets during a specific range. In adulthood, his space-time ninjutsu became advanced enough to travel through dimensions. Even with others, these interdimensional portals manifest as dark oval-shaped spirals. Orochimaru brands Sasuke with the Cursed Seal of Heaven after their first encounter in part 1. The Heaven Seal is one of the 2 most powerful curse marks. It inhabits Sasuke's left shoulder until in Shippuden, when Itachi removes the Cursed Seal from Sasuke's body. However, he remains compatible with the Cursed Seal's source, Jugo, allowing Jugo to provide him flesh or chakra if the need arises. Despite being an excellent shinobi, Sasuke knows very few ninjutsu. He learns to summon snakes during his time with Orochimaru. He typically summons them as shields, rapid ground transportation, or to bind targets. Unseen outside of the animal path, Sasuke also can summon a second animal species, hawks. His use of hawks is more limited than snakes, using them just for flight and therefore the additional maneuverability that permits. Adult Sasuke can also use the Shadow Clone Jutsu, being able to use it quite easily. As an Uchiha, Sasuke is trained with a spread of various ninja tools. When he was a child, he once used inexpertly a bow and arrow to hunt a boar with Itachi, practice that later becomes useful for his Susanoo. His area of expertise is Shuriken Jutsu, allowing him to throw shuriken and kunai with precision. For sophisticated or moving targets, Sasuke can guide shuriken to their mark using either wire strings or deflecting them off of one another. Though his throwing speed is quicker than most, it doesn't compare to Itachi, prompting him to plan the lightning flash blade creation. By sealing shuriken and kunai into his arm bracelet, Sasuke can always have an outside supply ready, allowing him to barrage targets in a moment. Sasuke begins employing a sword after training with Orochimaru, wielding it even as skillfully in either hand. He uses what he calls his sword of Kusanagi regularly throughout part 2, often to chop down multiple opponents during a short period of time. He uses it defensively also, blocking incoming attacks or holding off skillful swordmen. By adulthood, Sasuke becomes skilled enough to instantly switch between wielding his sword backhanded and normally even during a clash. Sasuke can use all 5 basic nature transformations, also as yin release, 2 of which he could utilize at the age of 13. As an Uchiha, he features unnatural affinity for fire release, mastering the clan's great fireball technique years before becoming a genin, a feat which greatly shocked Kakashi. Sasuke also can coat fire around his shuriken, guide his flames along wire strings, or create a succession of dragon-shaped fireballs. His fire release prowess is shown to be strong enough to simply disperse most water release techniques. By adulthood, Sasuke is capable of mixing water and wind release to make makeshift ice, also like a fusion technique. Sasuke is additionally a formidable user of lightning release, making first use of it with Chidoro taught to him by Kakashi, his sensei. While effective at piercing most targets, the quality Chidoro may be very close-range attack. For this reason, Sasuke uses the principle of Chidoro to make several long-range jutsu, like throwable needles, extendable swords, and scattershot streams. He often channels his lightning chakra into his sword of Kusanagi to extend its cutting power. When using his curse seal, or the 6 paths chakra, his lightning chakra becomes darker in color, though it isn't clear if this changes its actual properties in any way. By adulthood, Sasuke is capable of using his lightning release to further augment his speed during the battle. To the purpose, it matches Kinsuke's speed. Sasuke is extremely intelligent, having earned top grades in his academy class. In combat, he usually remains on the offensive, rarely pausing in his attacks or falling back to regroup. Rather, Sasuke observes as he goes, being mindful to all or any factors on the battlefield and analyzing his opponent's techniques to know their mechanics and purposes. His accordingly familiar with arising with tactics on the fly, choosing whatever approach, regardless on how elaborate, are going to be most successful at the precise moment. His strategies might be considered irresponsible or risky, as he has on quite a few occasions placed himself or his allies in harm's way. Despite this, his actions tend to pay off, earning praise for his analytical skills from Minato Namikaze and Madara Uchiha. Jigen would also praise Sasuke for having eventually found out the character of his technique, and even went as far on saying that his analytical skills, including his dojutsu, make him more dangerous than Naruto, who was deemed his equal. Despite how he proceeds during combat, Sasuke does tend to be prepared before entering a fight, or as best as he can. He specifically trains to be faster than Gaara's sand. He attacks Orochimaru at the instant when his body is weakest. He equips himself with the lightning flash blade creation in order that he can compete with Itachi Uchiha's speed. He may even have a technique in mind that he can work towards throughout a fight, as when he spends a part of his fight with Itachi creating conditions for Kirin, even counting on Itachi's jutsu to facilitate in its use. He has shown tactical sense and teamwork, ready to instantly understand an ally's plan of action with little communication and act accordingly to form it successfully. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there's a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our plus $5 Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go into the Discord that's in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day.
blazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby.